Today, the Trump administration announced additional sanctions on Iran.
We will be instituting the highest level of economic sanction. Any nation that helps Iran in its quest for nuclear weapons could also be strongly sanctioned by the United States.
From firing a ballistic missile at Saudi Arabia to hijacking commercial ships in the Red Sea, the Zaidi Islamist political and military organization, also known as the Houthis, has been relentlessly escalating global tension. Judging from their attacks, it is safe to say they have no plans on slowing down, and things will only get worse. Besides Saudi Arabia, Israel has also provided updates on the Houthis' attacks on vessels in the Red Sea. These updates became more pressing after US President Donald Trump issued a warning. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and the situation has gotten so out of hand that the US has no option but to retaliate. The United States government has announced that another aircraft carrier, the USS Carl Vinson, will be redirected from eastern China towards the Middle East, where the Houthis are. The recent situation has raised some major questions. Do the Houthis plan on slowing down? If not, then is this the most damage they can do? How does the US plan to retaliate? Was negotiating with Iran a good deal? Let's get into it, one by one. As we've mentioned earlier, the Houthis seem to have no intentions of their strikes, and this can be seen in the latest statement given by the group's military spokesman, Yahya Saree, in a televised speech.
The operations of the armed forces will continue at an escalating pace against the American enemy by targeting its warships in the declared area of operation.
The group leader also announced the northern Red Sea as the next target for the warships, and declared Israel for its war with Gaza as the reason behind these attacks. According to them, the attacks won't stop, and the Israeli ships will remain banned from the Red Sea until Israel steps down from its war with Gaza. Since November 2023, the Yemeni extremists have targeted several commercial ships passing through the Red and Arabian Seas, the Bab al-Mandab Strait, and the Gulf of Aden. In light of these attacks, U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz also gave a heads-up against the Houthis.
The difference here is the Houthis have incredibly sophisticated air defenses, and they also have anti-shipping cruise missiles, drones, sea skimming types of attack drones, and other ballistic missiles even. They've launched dozens of attacks on multiple warships, dozens of attacks, over 175 on global commerce, sank multiple ships. I just think the American people need to understand what has happened here. The previous administration had a series of feckless responses. President Trump is coming in with overwhelming force. We will hold not only the Houthis accountable, but we're going to hold Iran, their backers, accountable as well. And if that means they're targeting ships that they have put in to help, their Iranian trainers, IRGC and others, that intelligence, other things that they have put in to help the Houthis attack the global economy, those targets will be on the table too.
But who's backing the Houthis? This seems to be something more than an independent rebel group is capable of doing. Despite Iran defying all claims of allyship, Mike Waltz has issued a warning to Iran as well. Besides launching missiles aimed at Saudi Arabia, the Houthis have also caused notable damage to the world economy. In Saudi Arabia alone, their attacks destroyed a liquefied natural gas (LNG) plant, water desalination plant, oil facility, and power station at once. In the year 2024, there was a total of $200 billion in losses recorded from the world economy. The destruction of ships was not the only financial loss. Security concerns forced many vessels to change routes, increasing costs due to higher fuel prices and additional security measures. Due to the attacks targeted at the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, ships had to take longer different routes, including going around the Horn of Africa, due to which everyone, even normal people like you and me, got affected as everything became a lot more expensive. Due to such crucial damage, the US decided to fight back and targeted Houthis areas. But these attacks weren't just menial attempts as a symbol of resistance. Oh, absolutely not. The United States government made sure to give the Houthis an idea of the extent to which the armed forces can go and showed strategic finesse by targeting the Houthi leadership.
Well, thank you. And the difference is these were not kind of pinprick, back and forth, what ultimately proved to be feckless attacks. This was an overwhelming response that actually targeted multiple Houthi leaders and took them out. And the difference here is, one, going after the Houthi leadership, and two, holding Iran responsible. It is Iran that has repeatedly funded, resourced, trained, and helped the Houthis target not only U.S. warships, but global commerce, and has helped the Houthis shut down two of the world's most strategic sea lanes.
Instead of retaliating whenever the Houthis attack, the U.S. has decided to nip the evil in the bud and address Iran directly, which is said to be backing the Houthis. This seems to be a reasonable statement, considering the ammo that is being flaunted by the Houthis during these attacks. Not only the Houthis, but Iran seems to be backing a lot of such rebellious organizations, whether it's Hamas in Gaza or Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran is believed to supply these groups with more than just weapons, and machinery reports suggest they also provide intelligence, training, and financial support. And in return, Iran has been controlling the majority, if not every move made by these extremist groups. When, where, and who to attack. All these critical decisions are claimed to be made by the Iranian government. Iran, on the other hand, refuses to accept any involvement, thus taking no responsibility for these attacks. Here's a statement regarding the Houthis' attacks.
These accusations are void and are due to the terrible situation that the Zionist regime is dealing with. We have repeatedly announced that resistance groups in the region are representatives of their nations, and they make decisions based on their own interests. These comments are aimed at projecting and escaping from the terrible situation that the Israeli regime is facing. The Zionist regime cannot accept that it suffered a strategic and serious defeat from a resistance group in Gaza, and it makes efforts in different ways to cover and justify the defeat by accusing Iran and others.
And here's another regarding the Hamas attacks.
حامیان رژیم و بعضی از افراد خود رژیم غاصب یاوه‌گویی‌هایی در این دو سه روز کردند و ادامه داره، از جمله اینکه ایران اسلامی رو پشت این حرکت معرفی میکنن. اشتباه میکنن. ما پیشانی و بازوی طراحان مدبر و هوشمند و جوانان شجاع فلسطینی رو میبوسیم. ما به اونها افتخار میکنیم، این هست. اما اونایی که میگن کار فلسطینی ها ناشی از غیر فلسطینی هاست، ملت فلسطین رو نشناختند. این کار خود فلسطینی هاست. طراحان هوشمند، جوانان شجاع، فعالان از جان گذشته.
Instead of relying on Iran's word, the U.S. has made multiple attempts to either improve relations with them or eventually take the challenging route. In fact, when President Trump got elected, he'd initially announced a negotiation where, if Iran halted the pursuit of nuclear weapons, the U.S. would lift sanctions and provide aid in improving the Iranian economy.
My fellow Americans, today I want to update the world on our efforts to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. The Iranian regime is the leading state sponsor of terror. It exports dangerous missiles, fuels conflicts across the Middle East, and supports terrorist proxies and militias such as Hezbollah, Hamas, the Taliban, and Al-Qaeda. Over the years, Iran and its proxies have bombed American embassies and military installations, murdered hundreds of American service members, and kidnapped, imprisoned, and tortured American citizens. The Iranian regime has funded its long reign of chaos and terror by plundering the wealth of its own people. In fact, the deal allowed Iran to continue enriching uranium and, over time, reach the brink of a nuclear breakout. The deal lifted crippling economic sanctions on Iran in exchange for very weak limits on the regime's nuclear activity and no limits at all on its other malign behavior, including its sinister activities in Syria, Yemen, and other places all around the world.
However, Iran never seemed interested in such propositions, which led the U.S. to take more severe steps, such as military retaliation.
Therefore, I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. In a few moments, I will sign a presidential memorandum to begin reinstating U.S. nuclear sanctions on the Iranian regime. We will be instituting the highest level of economic sanction. Any nation that helps Iran in its quest for nuclear weapons could also be strongly sanctioned by the United States.
Not only that, but Trump made sure to include a heads-up regarding the use of military force in efforts to control Iran's global extremism.
This will include efforts to eliminate the threat of Iran's ballistic missile program, to stop its terrorist activities worldwide, and to block its menacing activity across the Middle East. In the meantime, powerful sanctions will go into full effect. If the regime continues its nuclear aspirations, it will have bigger problems than it has ever had before.
With President Trump announcing severe consequences, how do you think the situation will proceed? Will Iran back down? Will Trump give negotiations another shot? Tell us what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and turn on the post notifications so you can get the updates right away.